Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. You can see I'm not at my office. I'm at home at my home office, but I want to make this video for you. I've been very busy for the last week and a half, so it's just haven't been able to get on here on YouTube as much as I wanted to, but I can tell you that I've been doing a lot of research. I've been working with a lot of clients and files and just a lot of stuff. And but now I have some stuff to say, and I want to go over it with you. I'm going to answer questions on here. I'm going to give you some stuff for the mindset that I want you to be in, because I'm seeing a lot of stuff over and over and over, saying things where people just have this pattern in their mind and just not understanding that they control. You control your outcome. So first, let's go into the questions and answers. We have an individual here, YouTube. They're on. They have a garnishment that's going. They are on unemployment, and they believe that they fall within the poverty guidelines. And they wanted to ask, "Can I help?" And I did put an answer on there, but let me just go over real quick. If you are getting garnished, number one, being on unemployment, you should not have been able to be garnished. So you need to really check into that. Unless it's from the state or something federal, potentially you could get your unemployment garnished. But other than that, I don't see how you could be garnished. So let's walk back on what you need to do. And I did put that answer for you on there too, is that every state has a guideline on what amount of money you have to make to be able to be garnished. Yes, there are some states that are just straight up rats. They will just, no matter what, they will eat an individual up. So, Louisiana comes to mind. I've seen where they don't care. But most states will allow you, number one, some of them have exemptions where you can't even be garnished unless it's only something from the state. And then other ones have where there's a poverty guideline. They call it poverty guideline, even though it's not necessarily a poverty guideline. They're just saying if you don't make over a certain amount of money, and that can go with either your money or dependents that you have, that you cannot be garnished. That just period, point blank, you cannot be garnished. So I tell people, look at your state laws on garnishments, and then if you were not qualified to be, if you didn't qualify to be garnished, you just simply have to write a letter to that attorney that went to court to get the garnishment, send the judge a copy of that letter. They will stop the judgment and they will send you the money back. You need to request that any money that you paid be sent back to you. A lot of people are surprised that they will send the money back. Let me just tell you that when it comes down to all of this stuff, you are just a number. And I know that that's easier said than done. I went through it and I had to realize it. You are just a number. Yes, they want to get paid from you, but you are just a number, and they will follow the legal process if you ask, number one, ask the right questions, and number two, if you request it to get it back. I've seen a YouTube subscriber last year was getting garnished from a debt collector for a student loan for a school that had closed, and I told him to do exactly what I just told you to do, and he got the loan discharged and $3,000 given back to him from the debt collector. So this can happen, but it takes work to do it. So that's what you're going to have to do. If you live in the state of Wisconsin, all you have to do is go and look online. It's the poverty guidelines. The court actually produces this document, and it goes from 6 months. So every 6 months, they give another document where they'll increase it. Last time they increased it like $3. So if you made $3 more, you would not be qualified to get garnished. So you need to look at that. Every state has something, some type of laws, even the ones that are rotten, still has some type of rules on what can amounts can be you can be garnished. And then also pay attention to the worksheet. When an employer gets a garnishment order, like when I get a garnishment order from somebody to take out a garnishment on one of my employees, there's a document that they give you, and then there's a worksheet that you can fill out that will actually break down what amount you are even able to be garnished amount that they can even garnish you. Yes, it starts at 25% of your disposable income, but you need to do the worksheet and it can be a lot lower. And even if it is 25%, you can talk to them and say, the 25% is going to put me into bankruptcy. I want to pay this thing, but I need to do 10% for a while, and then we can revisit it in 3 to 6 months or a year. Whatever you can negotiate, it takes work. Get it in your mind that when you are going to get out of debt, when you're going to work yourself and work on your credit, you are about to start another job that's going to take work, and you need to get it into your head. So now here's the next thing. Another person had a question about timeshare maintenance. Uh, that what will happen if you go in front of a judge, and will the judge just go in their favor to say, hey, you got to keep paying on this timeshare? And I put an answer on there for you also. I went through this when I was in my 20s. Me and my wife went to a timeshare. They said, hey, you can come here. We're going to let you stay free, this and that. You know how they bring you in there and they're going to give you this free TV. This was way back when uh, this is in the 90s, like 92 or 93, somewhere around there. We went to get the free trip, uh, and they and for the free gift. They put so much pressure on us. Like they take you from room to room to room. First, you're in a room with all the people. Then you're in a room individually. And when you want to get out of that room, they take you to another room where they're going to have one sales rep that's putting a lot of pressure on you. And then you're going to say, when we said no, I'll just tell you what my story. When we said no, they took us to another room. We thought we was getting the hell out of there to get the free gift. No, we went to the other room, and this person's job was to put more pressure on us. And then if we didn't, and to not give us the free gift if we walked out of there. We went through so much pressure to where we just said, hey, me and her said, we're not getting this. We'll get out of here without the free gift, and we'll make arrangements for us and the kids to be in a hotel somewhere so we can continue the vacation. So now, that right there is when you hear the timeshare commercials and you hear everything that's going on, this is what they are talking about. They put you under pressure to say that this would not be available if you left. And then also, people are saying, well, you should have stood strong and just said no and don't sign. The pressure that they put people under is, if you've never been through it, it is crazy the way that they do this. And they are doing like 3 different types of strategies on people before you get out of that room. My cousin, who is has all types of degrees, master's degrees and everything, fell for it and is still paying to this day. I think 7, 8, 9, 10 years later. So don't fall for like where they just say, hey, you're stuck with it. What you need to do is you need to do like what ends up happening when like Santander got sued or Credit Acceptance got sued, these big companies, is that you need to turn it around and you need to get a piece of paper out and you need to write down what you went through, because what you went through is going to be your argument when you go to court. And even if you lose, at least you're not going to court just saying, I don't want to pay for this maintenance, because you went through something. When you were in those rooms, you went through something, and it is technically not something that is right for people to go through and experience, because the process that they put you under made you feel like you could not even get out of that room. And I'm not saying that everybody is going to have the same result, but I can tell you that if you make it known to the judge what you went through and what your argument is, maybe the company is not going to want to continue with yours. A lot of times people win. A lot of times people win against debt collectors. They win against like timeshare industry. They win against companies where they just say, settle with that person, and so we can just continue doing what we're doing with everybody else. We don't want this to continue. And so you'll see people have to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and they leave them alone for the timeshare, but they're like, keep that quiet so we can keep collecting money from these other people that are struggling to pay us. So that's what you need to do is you need to write down on a piece of paper. If they're taking you to court, you need to write down on a piece of paper so you can prepare your arguments against why you don't want to pay this anymore. You might lose, but you might win. Or there might be some type of other agreement that might happen. Okay, we have another person here. They said that their credit acceptance is suing me for a lemon shut off on me when I was at work. So they bought a car shut down. They still ended up paying back 9,000 or 14,000. They financed me. They are shady crooks. So the car's worth 6,100. I ended up paying back 9,000 of the 14,000. What you need to do, if they took the car back, it is, let's see, they took over a month to pick. Okay, so they picked the car up. They repossessed the car. So what you need to do is right now, you need to use the credit acceptance lawsuit that's building to potentially get you out of this. You could send to your attorney general, and just in case your attorney general isn't up on what's going on with credit acceptance, download papers and put down what happened with you, and then send all of that to your state attorney general's office. I would say send it to the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, but if you want to do that, that's like just throwing it into the lake or throwing it into the ocean. Nothing is going to happen. Send it to your attorney general. Not to say that it's going to happen with your attorney general, but the attorney generals, what they can do is they latch on to what's happening with the other attorney generals, and they might say, hey, what's going on with this? Just make a quick call and see what's going on with it. And like what I said with the timeshare, they might choose to just, you can send them a copy too. They might choose to say, let's deal with his so we can get that out of the way and not build on to what's coming down the pike for this big, massive class action lawsuit. I hope everybody is getting where I'm coming from when I say this stuff, is that some of the times the solution for you is not a solution that's going to be used for everybody else. It's going to be your individual solution on how hard you work to get to that solution. There could be a settlement agreement saying you paid $9,000 and we're just going to end it right there. Everybody washes their hands and go. We take it off your credit reports, and you might have to sign a non-disclosure agreement that you're not going to say anything about what resolution came with your individual case. This is work. Work gets things to happen. Think it in your mind, put it down on paper, and start looking at the different opportunities for you to work out your situation. That's what everybody does who's a thinker when it comes to figuring out and solving problems. This is the way I do it. This is the way that you should do it. Okay, here's another one here. Person said that they needed my email address. You send that to support@thecreditrepairshop.com. Support@thecreditrepairshop.com. Said that you got court paper, statute of limitations in my state, New York, is 6 years, and the debt is for 4. I think we ended up emailing you back where we showed you what to do. But this is what you do. If it is past the statute of limitations, and you know for sure this is the charge-off date, and it's not a judgment, and it's past the 4 years for your state, which is New York, then you simply just have to write them a letter, and I give you that letter below this video, stating that they're attempting to collect the debt that is past the legal statute of limitations to collect. And you send a copy of that letter to them, and you put CC to your state attorney general's office. They will not continue coming after you. You don't need a debt validation. You don't need to do any of the other stuff. You don't need to talk about the debt in the means of the dollar amount or how you're going to pay, or I don't want to pay. This is strictly a legal uh, following the law that they have to follow, that you have to follow. It is past the legal statute of limitations for you to legally have to pay the debt. You can morally pay the debt, but you don't have to legally pay the debt. And one of the things that this individual, I'm glad that they put the note on here too. They, when they downloaded the letters, I give you all three same time. Erase the one that you don't need, just because a lot of people I'm noticing are not good working with Word document. Erase the letters that you don't need, and then save the one that you do need, and leave that template that has all three, save that file as it is, so you can just go back. Maybe you copy and paste whatever you need to do. And in the red, I put it in red, the things that you need to change. You can print it out, and it's just going to be a little shaded gray, or you can use your tool inside of Word document to highlight that and then turn it to black. So that's what you need to do with that. Okay, how to get a collection off your credit reports after you settled on the payment. If they don't want to do it, what you simply have to do is just dispute to the bureaus that this is an obsolete account. And then it's going to take some time, but they will eventually not respond to that, which you are telling the truth that it is an obsolete account. But it takes work. They don't always do it on the first one, and it might come off of one and still be on two. You're working on the two, come off of two, and it's still on three. Take a little bit longer time to work on the third one. All right, we have, if I have three collection debts that are held by three collectors, that is almost have 10 collections that have been removed from my credit reports by the bureaus themselves because they are past the 7-year statute of limitations for being on the credit report. There's a 7-year limitation on the credit reports, and it's two different statute of limitations. And then how do I deal with the collectors to get a pay to delete for the three active debts? Can I pay off the active debts without having to pay the past statute of limitations debt? Yes, if we check your state to see when is the legal statute of limitations for paying a debt in your state. And then if it is past the date, then you just need to simply send them a letter to notify them that they can't come after you for those debts. And then for the ones that are not past the legal statute of limitations for your state, we're not talking about the statute of limitations to remain on your credit reports. You can negotiate with them a settlement, and then in that settlement, you can negotiate to get it deleted. Even if they don't want to get it deleted, come back around after you finish the settlement process, and then dispute to delete the obsolete account off of your credit reports. Going to take work. Okay, after you answer the summons and get to arbitration, are you saying skip arbitration and go right before the judge and exercise your rights to force them not to prove the debt? Absolutely. The problem if you go to arbitration, and I don't want to say that this is legal advice, I'm just telling you what happens. When you go to arbitration, you're just going to be talking about the debt. If you go to court to have a hearing in front of a judge, they have to prove everything about why they got the debt, how they got the debt, how they got your personal information, how they accumulated that amount, even though they're a debt collector and they have no one works inside of the accounting office at either the original creditor or credit card company. They have to prove how all of this stuff happened. And you are like making them prove every piece, and you get in front of the judge and say, this is what I need. I'm not running from it, but this, I just do not agree with that. And then the judge will make a decision. But if you go to arbitration, you're giving up that right because you're saying the debt is mine, but now we just got to talk about how we're going to deal with it. All right, the next one, Chase Bank sent it to a collection. The collection couldn't find me for over a year. Then the collection sent the debt back to Chase. Chase decided to send to the IRS. That's what usually happens. They sent the 1099-C to the IRS, and they because they couldn't find you, which is good. They didn't choose to go to court. That means that Chase owned the debt. They had just hired the debt collector. Chase says that they're not going to go after you for it. Sent it to 1099-C, cancellation of debt, to the IRS, and now no one can collect on it. And now you can just pay the taxes on that, or get a waiver, and then you can move forward on getting it removed off your credit reports. Because technically, when they did the cancellation of debt and said that this is income to you, you paid the debt. That's crazy when you think about that. They don't even expect you to even put those, 1 + 1 = 2 when you do that. Let's see. Someone put here, I think I answered this in the last one, said, uh, credit collectors do not care about your financial situation. They want money to make that profit. Yeah, I think I did answer that, but I'll answer it again here. Yeah, they don't really care, but they do have to go by some rules of, number one, just internally, that why go after, put money after something that we're not going to get money on. So if you start building a case with them, and I'm not talking about like a legal case, talking about putting it in their mind that, hey, you're not going to get anything. You might as well just put this on the back burner and just write me once a month or every 2 months, however you want to do it, because my income or whatever is just not going to work for this. I'm exempt. You can look up your laws and be like, hey, even if you get the judgment, I'm exempt. You can write them a letter if you don't feel confident saying that over the phone. They will stop. Most of them will stop unless they just feel like you might win the lottery. Okay, now let's get into it. This is the mindset part. I want to tell you this, and I had that up there already in text, is that the miracle has already happened for you. The miracle has already happened for you. The miracle has already happened for me. The miracle has already happened for everybody. What is the miracle? The miracle is that you were born. You are an individual, and you need to come to this fact. And this is stuff that I guess I got even more awakened to when my wife was given a second lease on life when she got her transplant. Because if you disappear, if you disappear, everything that was part of you, what is it? Let's just talk about it on a material level. If it's your car and you are gone, what made that your car? It was you. If you're the father or the mother of your children, if you're gone, what is missing? You're the miracle. Stop believing. Stop believing that other people are more special, other people are more talented, other people can do things that you could never do. That has nothing to do with it. What it is, this is what's missing, is, are you doing what you want to do? See, everybody looks at what other people are doing. They want to do that. That's why they're so good. They want to do it. Why do I, you know, and some of you say it, like, I have a passion when I make the videos. Like, I want to make them. I want to do it. I saw myself doing this. I saw myself doing this before YouTube even existed. In the 90s, just a quick story. In the 90s, I had an infomercial that was on TV. But one of the things that had happened with that infomercial, that something that I used to do all the time when I was driving to work, is that I would talk to myself, but also I was imagining talking to people. I was imagining talking to you. Some of the times I was like imagining that I was talking to one person. As a matter of fact, when I make the videos, I make the videos for you, one person. I make it for you. I don't make it for millions of people. That other people do that on YouTube. I make it for you. I'm specifically speaking to you. And I'm telling you that you are the miracle. The miracle has already happened and you are special. The only thing that you need to do, for all of us, what we have to do is we have to start doing what we want to do. So every day when I wake up, there's no pressure. There's no, I mean, yeah, feelings come up, and I'm going to talk about that in a second about how to deal with those feelings. But I'm doing what I want to do. Like sometimes people say, you got this, you have 4 businesses. I can't even manage one. I go to work and can't even manage work. How are you managing 4 businesses? Because I'm doing what I want to do. There's other opportunities that came my way. Franchises, Chick-fil-A. I can tell you that one franchise though that my wife and I will do when we can is Waffle House. We want to bring Waffle House up north. But franchise opportunities, all types of opportunities. Someone walked into my office last week with this burial opportunity because so many people can't afford burial expenses. And we see the people putting up GoFundMe. And I was like, that is an excellent idea for you. Do you want to do it? I don't want to do it. The things that I do, the businesses that I run, the 4 that I have is absolutely what I see myself doing right now. And it might change. It might change in the future because we will change, we will evolve. In 1990, when my wife and I started our first business, I'm going to take a quick sip of. When my wife and I started our first company, all we wanted to do, well, me, I mean, she might have had a different dollar amount. What I said, if I can make $6,000 a month, I'm good. And I was saying that if I do that forever. 4 years later, I was making 100,000 a year, which is $8,400 a month from my business, and I wasn't happy with that. As a matter of fact, we went into $300,000 in debt, so that proved physically that I was not happy with that because I wanted more, but I was doing it the wrong way. I've made upwards of $200,000 in 1 month and wasn't happy. Yeah, I was happy with the money, but let me tell you, I was not happy with what I was doing. So what I ended up doing is I said, what do I want to do? I changed it. I said, what do I want to do? And I got rid of other businesses that I didn't want to do, which one of them was part of a network company where I was making sometimes $4,000 a week. And I said, I don't want to be part of it no more. That's not what I want to do. I want to do what I'm doing now. And it morphs itself, and it's like a puzzle. And I start putting the pieces together, and it starts working better. And it didn't happen overnight. It takes work because the mind has to go through some processes, which is what I'm about to talk about right now. See, every day, you and I, when we get up, we have a whole bunch of feelings and choices that are right there. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them are neutral, where it's like, I don't care. I've said this before, and what you have to do every morning when you wake up, you have to start putting yourself into a positive state of mind. You have to start imagining how you want your day to be, and if you have trouble doing that, you need to just say, I'm glad that I woke up, because I could be laying there dead, or I could be so tired that I can't even get out of bed. Pop up out of bed. You know what I do? I don't roll out of bed. I don't sit there and mull over waking up. I get up. My wife says, you pop up out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning. How can anyone pop up out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning? I do it. I do. And I don't even use alarm. I have no alarm clock. The alarm clock is right here. And one of the biggest reasons why I get up so early is because I want to hurry up to be able to talk to people like you through this. I have things to say and I have to put it, record it, and get it to you. Now, The feelings, the thoughts are all, they good or bad, neutral, we all have them. But what I've learned from research, from other mentors, is that what happens is that you see yourself that with that bad feeling. So if there's a bad thought and you attach yourself to it, that means that you identify with the bad thought. And I talk about this a lot with credit. How can we have one person, two people with the same credit problems, and we do the work the same way with those individuals, and this person has success and this person is failure? And what I had started noticing over the years, it really wasn't over the years, but I started really paying attention to it, is that that person that was unsuccessful, they had that attitude, and that attitude of failure. And when I really dug deep, they had failure with everything that they were doing. It's because they identify with failure. They don't want, but they accept that everything has to eventually go bad for them. People bring this into relationships. Bring the baggage from the old relationship into the new relationship when it had nothing to do with the new relationship. But what happens is that you attach yourself to the feeling. So when you have something that comes up that feels the same as what happened before that went bad, it's not that the same thing is about to happen. It's that you attach yourself to the feeling. So you start to think, and then you start to react and do things that allows that to become your reality. You do things by thinking, feeling, you accept that, and you allow that baggage to come and show itself. Even though the positive thought was right there, you didn't attach yourself to the positive thought. Now you might be saying, well, how can I attach myself to the positive thought? Before I get to that, I want to tell you the reason why it's so easy for you to accept the bad thought. Because we all have had good things happen to us in the past. So when good things happen, you don't even, it's like automatic, like you don't even think that I could have had something to do with this. Where people say some people take all the credit. You are not giving yourself enough credit when good things happen. And the part about it is not to think that you take credit for it, is that you need to take credit for the feeling that you allowed yourself to have the good thing happen, because it happened here before it materialized. It happened here in thought. Really, to go even further, is you grabbed the thought, put it into your computer, which is your mind, accepted the feeling, and then it materialized. That's how everything works. So what you do is you because when good things happen, you don't run through that process. That's what allows you to have that instant feeling about bad things. It's the same feeling. It's just that which one do you choose? And now here's the problem though, is that when you make that choice on one side to go with the good feeling, you cannot go there with one foot in the bad feeling and one foot in the good feeling. You have to go in faith. Look at this. This is my hand. There is nothing connecting them when I pull it apart. This side is the bad thought. This side is the good. There is no string. There is no trampoline below to catch you. You have to let go of one to attach yourself to the other one. And also accept that the work that it might take will try to bring on the feelings of disappointment that you had in the past. So when you try to do something, you'll be like, man, it ain't gonna work. You got to get rid of that feeling. And you have to exercise. This is mental exercises. This is mental. Trust me, if something bad is going to happen full-fledged, it's going to happen full-fledged. But if you have a positive mindset with it, it's not going to be as bad as it was. And really, think of all the bad things that happened to you. Are you still here? Are you still here? You're listening to me. You're watching this. You probably thought back then that it was going to be the worst thing in the world, but now look at you now. You made it through it. So my exercise for you is to watch this video again. You can speed it up to when we get to this part because you need it. So I'm going to end the video here. If you need help with your credit, or number one, please like this video. If you need help with your credit, please go to the website, thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, what makes us different. That's the way we're going to repair your credit. It's going to take work, but that's the way we're going to do it. If you don't agree with that, go to another company. Other thing is, if you need your credit reports and scores, please go to the website, yourorder3scores.com. You need all of the information on your credit reports. You need the comments on what debt collectors may have placed there. You can get stuff removed easily by just having where the comments don't coincide. You can figure out your dispute process based on what they've how different it is with what they reported with the 3 different bureaus. And also you need that for the charge off if you have a statute of limitations issue. Basically, get those reports. If you decide to work with us, that's the one that we would like for you to use. Next, if you need the cease and desist collection activities letter, the debt validation letter, and the statute of limitations letter, those links are below this video. We also have a new program where we will finance your credit repair process and also put a primary trade line on your credit reports. And you will get credit coaching where you can ask questions and I'll give you even a more detailed answer than what you get here on YouTube, even though this stuff is very good and valuable. And you will also get the credit repair included with that service. So thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and Founder of thecreditrepairshop.com. Thank you, and until next time.